This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
Bloody Happy Hour Tuesday edition.
Quickies.
And you know what? If you have not yet, if you guys are not our OG listeners and maybe you've come in the last year,
maybe
you should go on to whatever forum you're listening to and make sure to not only rate us, not only subscribe to us, what is it? Also review us.
And review us and rate us.
Yes. How do we say it? RRS.
RRS. Rate, review, and subscribe.
We have not looked at them in a while, but it's probably to the point where we need to look at them and we need to read some, and that just helps our podcast.
And if you click, all you gotta do is click like follow, and then that way you'll get notifications when the episodes come out and released, because sometimes they're morning, sometimes they're in the afternoon.
You can give us a star rating and leave us a note. If you have a specific note about a specific episode, tell us the episode. Especially if you hate it, we want to know what episode you hate.
Yeah, and tell us bad things that we do, because we need to be able to fix our mishappenings.
We haven't done that yet.
Constructive criticism.
I don't know that we've ever. No, we have. We've altered some things. So thanks for tuning in. And if you're brand new, this is our Quickie episode where we talk about all the things in the news, and we have some updates today, don't we, Caroline?
Yeah, let's start with the Delphi. Because Richard Allen was found guilty of all 4 counts. And this is a big injustice.
And you were shocked, weren't you?
Yes. I mean, okay, I wasn't shocked.
That shadow keeps scaring me.
I know. I wasn't shocked because but it was more of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Because I actually feel bad for the jury, because there was so much information that was not let into the trial by the judge. Like people confessing to one guy confessed to his sister. One guy asked, well, if my spit's on their body, then does that mean that I'm in guilt or whatever? And she didn't let the defense have their other like third party like theory or whatever, saying whoever it could have been.
I think that's an injustice. All these extra
because the way that
might have been rumors that will confuse a jury.
Right.
But like
they had in depth, like the bodies were placed. So if you're into tarot cards,
no.
Okay, which I mean I'm not, but if you're into tarot, like there's these 2 tarot cards. One is the Hanged Man. Okay, and it's a person hanging upside down by their foot or whatever from the tree, and like they're positioned in a certain way.
Is that how their bodies were?
Okay, yes. So it's the Hanged Man is one of the cards that one of the girls' bodies looked like. So the way that they were found is the blood, because they slit her throat. The blood was running like up her face. So you would have to be like upside down, hanging upside down. That's how their body would have been draining your blood that way. She wasn't actually hanging, but she was in the position of the hanging tarot card. The blood was in the same way, flowing in the same way that it would have been, and it's basically it's part of this Odinist and whatever cult-ish type of stuff that they do. And they said that, well, this was Andrea, that she's just talked about how, and then there was also like sticks that are placed on your body in a certain way, and it also mimicked the card. And the prosecution was trying to say, oh, they were just trying to camouflage and cover it up. But it was the specific way that these sticks were placed looked exactly like these rituals that they do.
Yeah, yeah.
none of that was allowed in. Okay. And it's known that these people are involved in this stuff. They have Facebook posts talking about, I mean, all these things. So there's like this whole group of people who nothing. Like, and so then they just randomly pick this. And Richard Allen has no previous.
They didn't find any of that shit in his house.
And they didn't.
No connection.
They didn't talk about how in when they do the cell phone geofence GPS stuff that there were 3 other people with phones who were in the area who they did not
even question. Here's what I think's going to happen. He's probably going to die in prison or kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is going to bring about even more light, and it will have to be looked at by outside. Like, it'll have to be...
The FBI was involved at one point, and then that's when the sheriff or somebody from the Indiana State Police was like, we don't need you anymore.
Well, you have to be invited. And welcomed.
But what's interesting is, like, with the Karen Reed trial, the FBI is involved and still is involved in investigating, but they couldn't let the jury know about that, which I don't understand. But the FBI was involved and still played a little bit of a part.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why. Like, if they would want to kick them out, why? Just like Delphi kicked them out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's different laws or every state's different.
Well, and it's like, I think Jean Bonnet is wanting like FBI to come in and do something about Boulder, Colorado police and tests, but Boulder doesn't want that to happen, and you have to be invited. But at what point, like here, Texas Rangers will come and intercept an investigation quickly. We don't need your or they don't need your permission. At what point do you have something like that when you see this much injustice? But I think down the road, another entity will have to pick it up, review it, bring that outside information in, and his family's going to get paid. It's because he probably will die.
They had no prison. Video, no audio, nothing. I don't know. It's when you got to hide so much of it, it just makes it extra shady. A lot of the people watching, the majority thought that he was not guilty, but the jury has to think about, okay, well, he did have these confessions, but then also he was being like completely not really completely tortured, but he was being he was in solitary and he was going crazy, and I don't know.
Wow.
So he's guilty and he gets sentenced, I think, December 20th, and he'll be in jail until then, which is better than where he's been, which he's been in prison this whole time.
Maybe they'll put him in like a institution type thing. It's clear he needs.
I doubt they will, because they like clearly do not give 0 F's about him.
Yeah.
They just want to get rid of it and just move on. And I want to know what the family thinks, because I don't think they haven't said anything, and I really need a juror to speak, like right now.
Oh. They're waiting to see who's going to offer the most money.
I hope that they go back and they watch and find out that all the stuff that was not allowed to be let into the trial, and then they're like, go and they talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't reverse it. You can only appeal it, which there are, if he lives. So there's that. And then, what else?
2 missing white women updates.
Oh. Okay, let's go first to the wily white woman.
Yeah.
The one we talked about last week.
Yeah, Melanie.
Which, okay. She was found? No, yeah.
Yes.
Or she found herself, or...
Here's
the thing.
Been returned home safe. So literally...
But they tell us nothing.
Nothing. All they have said is that she is home safe. The family is requesting privacy while Melanie is getting treatment. Is that psychiatric treatment? Is that treatment for her heart? What kind of treatment is that?
I need to know.
Pulling a Sherry? No, she wasn't even pulling a Pepini, because she's not acting like she was kidnapped. Was she having a rendezvous with a side piece? Was she that depressed, which her husband did say that she was, where she just wanted to, was it like a suicide type thing? And women will a lot of times not commit suicide in the family home because they don't want to ruin the family home for the family. They'll go and do it elsewhere. A lot of times, not every time. So is that it? Is that why she's getting treatment? We have nothing.
I'm like, you gotta give us a little bit of closure.
Yeah. And I think she was gone a total of 4 or 5 days, maybe 4 days. So where were you at this 4 days?
Where was she? Where did they find her? Did she come back? I need to know.
She had some guilt. So developing, I guess.
Developing. Let me really quickly talk about the guy who tried to fake his death, and then we'll go to the big one.
Oh, but you know what? It's a success story. Like, we're not happy with it. I'm talking about Melanie. Yeah. She's not dead. Her husband didn't kill her.
That's true. That's true.
Where we went. Yeah, so it's a success story. A success story. If she's dealing with some depression, she can get help for that. And
yeah, that's facts.
Maybe she'll talk about it later on. So yay, one success story.
So I feel like we maybe contributed in helping find her or make her.
Maybe we did.
She probably is a listener, and you know what? She probably is a listener, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, they're talking about me. I have to come back."
She's probably like, "I don't want my husband to get ridiculed because everybody's gonna think that he killed me. Let me go ahead and save him."
I'm pretty sure
he doesn't deserve this.
I think I saw her name on the list, so good for us. Well, we're glad you're back safe, and we kind of just want to know like what kind of happened.
Yeah, send us an email.
Then we have Ryan Borgwart.
Ryan, what'd you do?
Ryan, well, he is a Wisconsinite.
Oh, hell.
So that basically explains it.
Yeah.
And he's 45, which whatever. Father of 3. And he decided that he was going to fake his own death and flee to Europe.
Why?
I don't know. He was reported missing on August 12th after his kayak was found capsized in Green Lake, Wisconsin. And there was this massive search effort that was conducted. Law enforcement volunteers, no signs of him were found. In October, digital forensic analysis of his computer revealed some suspicious activity.
Oh, yes. Okay, what was it?
Including replacing his laptop's hard drive, clearing browser history on the day he went missing, taking photos of his passport, moving money to a foreign bank, changing his email address.
Listen, all normal stuff.
Communication with a woman from Uzbekistan.
That was really a fat, redhead, freckle face guy that's gut so big he can't even see his penis.
An incel. And purchasing airline cards and taking out a $300,000 life insurance policy in January.
Oh, well, okay. You know what? He wanted to make sure his family
up for success.
So, okay.
Are we doing an episode of success stories?
What a gentleman he was.
I mean, actually.
He was like, I'm leaving them hanging. My kids, they're going to be dealing with some sadness and depression. Let me go ahead and leave them with $300,000.
Let me go ahead. So these findings led investigators to believe that his disappearance was staged and that he may be alive in Europe. And so they are currently working to determine if a crime was committed or if anyone else assisted him in his alleged deception. So as far as I know, they're continuing this investigation, and everybody's urging him to contact the police or his own family.
So he's still in Uzbekistan.
As far as I know.
It's been months. So
it's been months?
His family, it says a man was missing for months. Investigators said he faked his death.
Oh, August 12th. That has been months. I read right over it.
His wife thought he was dead for months. His kids thought he was dead.
Did she get his insurance
for
policy?
months? She pay? Do you have to pay that back?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Did she get it because she thought he was dead? Was he declared dead? Mr.
After 54 days of searching for his body, you know what? They might have not have declared him dead.
So then she probably didn't get it. Why not get it?
Because they found evidence that pointed to something different. So she probably didn't get it. They probably lost their house because they needed his money.
I cannot.
Listen, what a chicken shit.
Well,
But
he
you know
really
what?
wanted to go to Uzbekistan or
It's just-
Uzbekistan or Uzbekistan.
It is a success story because he didn't kill his wife and kids to go to
There you go.
Uzbekistan.
You know what? I
Two
agree.
success stories.
He could have went the route of Chris Watts, and he did not.
He did not.
He just said, "I'm gonna fake my own death. Keep them." So there you go.
He was a little bit more creative.
That's
so
another option, and I think that more people should do that.
let's because these stories are a little bit better to talk about than the Chris Watts and the other Family Annihilator stories.
We have the Suzanne Simpson.
Come on, Suzanne.
Okay, so last week we had a major update. They were charging Brad, her husband, for murder, but they had this arrest affidavit that they said it was going to be sealed for 30 days. Well, I don't know, joke's on us because that was unsealed within days.
Who did
and
that?
It's all the things. So just a little update. Brad Simpson is charged with the murder of his wife, Suzanne Clarkson Simpson, and he was seen driving with 3 large trash bags. This is all in the back of his truck. A heavy-duty trash can, so like the big ones that, you set out in the front. Wrapped in a blue tarp, and this was all the day after her disappearance. This is according to the arrest warrant affidavit. And then, we recorded, so it was like 4 days after we found out, that's when the judge unsealed this affidavit. She's not been found yet, but the arrest warrant says that, it just tracks all of his whereabouts. So he went to, so I think it was, tarp, trash bags. He went to Whataburger. He went to Home Depot. I was watching this one.
I guess.
I was watching this Grizzly True Crime. And she's like in the Netherlands is where she lives. And so she's like, I don't know what Whataburger is. Is Whataburger good? And everybody's like, Whataburger's the best. Whataburger's the best. And so she was last seen October 6th. They went to this party at a private club. Super nice place. Like they're very wealthy. There was a very wealthy neighborhood and area. A neighbor had seen them arguing. We've talked about this. They were arguing outside the house. She tried to get away. The neighbor didn't report it till I think the next day. The neighbor heard screams from some bushy area. And the arrest warrant says that around 7:53 on October 7th, that what the neighbor saw them fighting, and then he had gone and dropped off his 5-year-old to school, and that's where on some of the surveillance cameras they saw the stuff in the back of his truck. That's when he then around 9:15 decided he got hungry because he probably dropped the kid off and then finished doing whatever he needed to do with the stuff that was in the back of his truck.
Well, and he was probably up all night murdering and trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
So he needed a taquito and a breakfast on a bun.
Yeah, and maybe a number 1 with mustard and cheese only and
all
Sprite, all the things, because
maybe he didn't want breakfast at 9 a.m. Maybe he wanted a burger.
Sometimes I do that. I don't murder, but I do burgers.
What he ordered. That's an
I
important
bet we
part
can
of the
find
investigation.
out. I bet we can find out. So Whataburger, also surveillance cameras, they saw in the bed of his truck, there were 3 white trash bags, a heavy-duty trash can, an ice chest, and a large bulky item wrapped and secured in a blue tarp.
What's in the ice chest?
A metal firewood rack was placed on top of the blue tarp, quote, in a manner to conceal and weigh the tarp down. Geolocation shows that Brad Simpson was then at a Home Depot in Bernie at 9:53.
What'd you buy, Brad?
Where video surveillance purchased 2 bags of cement, a construction bucket with a lid, and a box of 32-ounce heavy-duty trash bags, 1 bottle of Clorox disinfectant spray, and insect repellent.
He's in the woods.
Sir, what not to do when you're gonna murder somebody?
Never go to Home Depot.
Or Walmart. And when you
listen, if you don't have this shit at home, you don't need it.
If you're gonna do this, go buy all this stuff like a year in advance and separately. Like One day go buy your Clorox disinfectant.
Do like Sweet Pea. Keep it all in
Yes,
this.
the next week, buy your insect repellent. And then maybe 2 weeks later, go buy your bag of cement. Like, you can't be, if you're really trying to get away with it, you dumb. You real dumb.
Yeah.
So, parking lot of Home Depot. Okay, he asked a man. And then.
To the nearby.
Tell him.
He stopped in the parking lot of Home Depot where he just bought all the supplies and asked a man for directions to the nearest dump in Bernie.
Sir. I'm going to need you to go ahead and know where the dump is.
And then after he left the phone, he intentionally put his phone on lockdown or do not disturb airplane mode, maybe?
No. This is a whole new thing. This lockdown mode. It's not airplane mode. It's not turning it off.
It's an actual lockdown mode?
It's a something that you do and you put your phone in lockdown.
Wow.
And you can't access certain apps. It doesn't track your location. All these different things. I've never heard of lockdown mode.
But it's a new iPhone thing, I guess.
So I don't know how. I looked it up and I was like,
so he must have had her phone on lockdown mode because.
Okay, because he had taken her phone from her several times. And I think there was even one quote. Yes, there was even one quote or something that he said, well, I mean, I don't even know why I had her phone because I didn't even know her passcode. I couldn't even get in her phone, but I just had it with me. Whatever. He's obviously been like abusing her for ever. Ass. So over the next hour, Brad Simpson's truck was seen leaving a waste site in Bernie. He then headed to a gas station where he bought 2 1-gallon jugs of water. Then the surveillance footage showed that the trash bags were no longer in the bed of his truck, leading us to believe, where are they? In the dump site, which is why they were searching the dump site for days and days.
But see, he did that to make the police search somewhere else. I know. I think he did that on purpose.
But then there's also some lake, and let's see if we get to the lake, because there was a lake that he also traveled to, but the lake is dried up. Allegedly. Okay, so surveillance, the trash bags are no longer there, but he still had the blue tarp, the firewood rack, and the trash can at 11:15 a.m. He had also changed his shoes from sandals to cowboy boots.
Work boots.
You ain't in a rodeo, sir.
No.
He leaves the gas station. Now he's headed to Bernie and Kendall County to Bandera County, whatever. Around 1:41 p.m., a license plate reader saw his truck headed back to Kendall County. At this time, the blue tarp was no longer visible in the bed of... So I'm like, they have like every single step he took on surveillance.
Just don't commit murder because there's cameras everywhere. You're always being followed.
Always. So it says that the bed of his truck was, the blue tarp was no longer visible in the bed of his truck, and the firewood rack had been repositioned. So then after he's had his whole long day, he's gone to Whataburger, he's gone to Home Depot, he's gone to the dump site, he's gone to the gas station. He's got to be exhausted, but guess what? He got to pick up his kid from school.
It's 3:30.
It's 3:30. He's picking up the kid from school, and now the surveillance camera once again shows, and now it's showing the bed of his truck did not contain the firewood rack. And he did have a heavy-duty trash bag and an ice chest. Trash can there at the time.
I wonder if the ice chest is just always there. Like Soupy always has an ice chest on the back of the truck.
Well, because he's planning something.
Probably so. And so it's not a red flag.
Yeah.
So it's not a red flag when they see it.
Exactly.
But maybe the ice chest doesn't contain a head because that's what I was thinking.
Well, I don't know why he would want to keep the head, but you want to know where he goes next?
Where? Oh,
to the car wash at
with his kids in the car.
It was the bubble bath. I think it's called the bubble bath. He goes straight to the bubble bath. He went to a car wash and he cleaned the inside of his truck. I mean, maybe it was dirty. The video showed dried cement splashes near the rear passenger compartment and bed. Only the ice chest was visible inside the bed of the truck at this point. So, I mean, he's slowly like just getting rid of everything. This guy.
I just realized he needed the big jugs of water for the cement.
Because
you put the cement, that comes like a powder form. You need the water to make it harden and set.
So he probably, where did he put it? We don't know, but he basically left her body and cemented it in something. I think it's got to be.
He dug, but there was no shovel.
But there's a well. I think she's in a well in a cement block. What a awful, like what? So he had to thought about this. He had it all planned out. I don't know. Later that night around 10 p.m. is when she was reported missing by her friend or by a friend. Minutes later, Simpson. Oh, and then after she was reported missing by the friend, that's when Brad decided he was going to call the police.
It was like
saying he hasn't seen his wife all day. So he did not report her.
Okay.
This is the neighbor, I believe, this is the neighbor who heard the screams from the day before. Mm-hmm. And then maybe when they found out, okay, she's not been seen. And so I guess I need to call the police. This is why when I was watching Grizzly True Crime, she's like, if you see something, say something, do it immediately, because the person waited a little bit longer, like the day. But I mean, sometimes you just, I don't know, I get nervous calling because then I'm like, did they think that I did it?
Wow.
Texas Rangers searched his vehicle on October 10th. They found stains from his vehicle that tested positive for blood, which ended up belonging to him.
Oh, wait, hold on. When he reported his wife missing, he didn't actually talk to the police. He left a voicemail. So you're not even concerned enough to talk to a real live person. You're just like, let me leave a voicemail on this answering machine that they will never check.
Oh, hey, I think my wife's missing, but just call me back when you get a chance. Or never.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks. Bye. Sir.
Voicemail.
And did he call like the voicemail line? Like he probably called like, he obviously
left
didn't call.
A voicemail.
Okay. He obviously did not call 911. No. Because I don't know.
He called the actual like office number that's probably not even in service anymore.
I cannot. So they searched the home on October 23rd. They found one bag of cement, a box of heavy-duty black trash bags, a heavy-duty trash can, and metal firewood rack. They think that her death occurred on or around October 6th. And then, let's do the friend call the police.
They found blood in the truck they found stains that tested positive for blood.
Yeah, it was his blood.
But it was his.
According to the affidavit, Brad claimed that his wife lost her cell phone while at HEB. Surveillance footage showed her at HEB with one of her young daughter the night of October 6th. And it says she went to the store minutes after leaving the Argyle. So,
and if y'all don't know what a HEB is, it is the best grocery store ever
she didn't
alive.
Either. The lady who I was listening to, Grizzly True Crime, because she lives in the Netherlands.
She's fired.
But she was like, she was like at least open to like, hey, what is that like in there?
You
like
should
like
leave your state right now if you don't have an HEB or a Whataburger, which they had Whataburger in Colorado.
I thought it was just a Texas thing.
It is, but they're slowly like.
Why would they not want to be everywhere?
Yeah. Anyways, HEB is a grocery store. It is the best of the best. Forget a Walmart. Forget a Kroger. Forget a
everything's
Winco.
Better.
Yeah.
9:15 the night of October 6th, Suzanne Simpson called a family friend and went to their house around 9:16. She also called her mother to say Brad had just assaulted her. So they believe that her cell phone was suspended at the request, they learned that her cell phone was suspended at the request of the subscriber around 9:16 p.m. that night, contradicting Brad Simpson's initial statements that she lost her phone at HEB.
Wow.
The warrant for his arrest was issued on the 8th. He was arrested the following day on charges of family violence and unlawful restraint. Because I was like, What did they arrest him on? Because you couldn't arrest him on murder charges because you didn't have enough evidence. So they arrested him on the violence, family violence, and holding her against her will, which is basically what the neighbor said. Friend/neighbor. Quote, he did not appear surprised at the time of his arrest. They noticed that he had some lacerations and bruises on his arms and hands. He appeared unconcerned and showed little emotion. Let's see. On October 9th, the Texas Rangers executed a search warrant at the home, located a burn site where a burnt laptop and multiple cell phones belonging to Brad Simpson were found. Sir.
Where was this? Where was the laptop?
Look at the bolded laptop, cell phones found in burn pit. And they're at their house.
Oh.
I mean, they have a huge house. So I'm sure there's some land, but they said like as the Texas Rangers were searching.
In a burn pit, he burned his own shit.
He burned his own shit in a pit.
What's on there?
2 notes recovered from one of his cell phones were titled, quote, "The Next Life," and "Last Will and Testament." The notes included apologies for physically assaulting his wife in August 2023 and again on October 6th.
Is that what she went missing?
Mm-hmm. Texas Rangers interviewed Suzanne Simpson's personal banker on October 23rd. The banker said that she made an outcry of domestic violence in August. She added that her husband would also commonly take her cell phone away. I think I even remember hearing the kids talking about how they knew where he would put her phone when it was taken away from her. So like this has been going on for a while. She told the banker, yeah.
If she went missing, to look for her in a lake. So he's been threatening her. He had this planned. He told her exactly how he was going to kill her. Probably a ton of times. And then he went through with it.
One friend told authorities that Suzanne Simpson knew her husband, tracked her location, and she knew him to be extremely jealous. After an incident in September 2023, Brad sent a text to a friend that said, "I still feel bad about tonight. I never should have grabbed her phone and drove off, but she was so protective of it." Oh, heaven forbid. And then we come to the James Cotter situation, because there's apparently 4 different people named James Cotter.
That in this story?
Remember how that's the guy who had the gun was in the wall? Yes, because there was a James Cotter who called in to Grizzly True Crime. It's not the same James Cotter.
Okay.
So James Cotter, a longtime business partner of Brad Simpson, was named in the affidavit. He was arrested October 22nd and charged with tampering with evidence with the intent to impair an investigation and possession of prohibited weapons. So the day before Brad's arrest, Brad texted Cotter and said, if you're in Bandera, can you haul ass and meet me at your house? I don't have much time. Cotter replied, "I'll be there in 40 minutes. Brad Simpson replied, "Okay, make sure and leave all that shit in the pump house." Wait. Okay, make sure and leave all that shit into the pump house, especially the gun. Cotter, get over here. I won't tell anyone. Cotter, you're my brother. 65-year-old Cotter made bond for his 2 felony charges related to the disappearance of Suzanne. Blah, 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 blah. The amount was reduced to this and this and this. Under bond conditions, he cannot have contact with Brad Simpson or have possession of a firearm. He's also fitted with a GPS monitor. He's accused of entering Brad Simpson's gun room on October 8th at his urging, removing an AK-47 that was illegally modified and hiding it in his own home. The firearm, which the feds said was modified into a machine gun, was not properly registered.
Damn, was he a Christian?
Maybe. So, on October 29th, Brad Simpson told a family court that his wife was probably in Austin with her friends.
Yeah.
Because that was her happy place. He made comments while appearing via Zoom for a CPS hearing in Baxter County that what? Oh, so he was on I don't know what that's about. He made the comments while, so he Okay, so he was on a Zoom call for CPS, a CPS hearing.
Probably because mom is missing.
Well, okay, but
Dad's
this
in
was
jail.
okay. Yes,
Where are the kids going to go?
Yeah, that's when on this Zoom call is whenever he told the court that she was probably in Austin because that was her happy place. This was this statement that he made to the court was a week before he was charged with murder.
Got it.
The comments. Okay. Then he was told by his attorney to stop talking. And he answered no more questions. The custody proceedings are sealed, which is standard in family court hearings involving minors. The judge was considering whether any charges should be made to the custody of Simpson's two youngest children. A hearing in misdemeanor court scheduled for Simpson on Wednesday has been rescheduled for next month.
Misdemeanor court?
I don't really know what that means. Maybe it's just from the first initial charges, like the domestics.
Yeah.
But all that is to say,
they left nothing for court
that
for a trial.
But think about it. When we got the Brian Koberger's affidavit, it was like full of things, and that's just when you thought like what was left. And now I don't even know what's happened in that case. But this, he obviously did it. I mean,
yes.
And he put the body in cement and put her even dropped it to a bottom of the lake, or I think it's maybe in a well, but I don't know why they're not talking about a well. If this bitch is not in a well, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't mean that to be offensive. I'm just saying.
But why did you think a well again? Just because he works in the oil or
because that's what my friend told me, that he was in the well. He does stuff with wells, and that's her theory, and I agreed with her theory, and she's basically
you got to do this here at one time.
Yes, and I'm convinced.
You're probably right. There's no telling.
So this poor
family and these kids.
Gosh, and these kids.
But there's an older kid because she's the one that's been advocating for her mom.
I think there's 3 or 4 kids, but they keep talking about the 5-year-old, but they keep talking about 5-year-old because that's where he dropped the kid off at school. So I'm thinking the other ones are old enough to where they either rode the bus or maybe the oldest drove the other younger. I don't know how old they are.
She was about to leave them, and that's when they can't handle it.
I know. I'm like, just...
Bad. They can't handle it.
So do you think he chopped her up? Or just like shot her? I think he just shot her, then had the body, and then maybe he strangled her. But why would he need to hide the gun?
He had to have strangled her because the neighbor saw him trying to restrain her and then went down to the ground.
So he for sure, because there's no gunshot, but then why does he need that friend?
Because it's an illegal gun.
He couldn't burn it in the burn pit?
No, that is not going to burn. Oh, Suzanne.
Poor Suzanne.
That poor mama.
And those kids. I always hate it because like now you're just left. You're an orphan.
You don't want to go with your crazy aunt.
Maybe
Suzanne's sister with
the
the tiger and the... Don't go to Aunt so-and-so. Don't go to Aunt
Don't
Sissy.
ever go to the crazy aunt. You don't like crazy aunt.
Oh, man. We laugh about things to get us through this.
Oh, you know this by now. If you're new and you don't know this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
And we can start our relationship. We can start our relationship, and this is just how it's going to be, and it's fine.
Yeah. Woo, okay. Well, that was some good updates, and we'll see y'all Thursday. Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.